So, was there ever a moment, because you gave a lot of efforts in learning the language also, and a lot of things happened in your journey.
Yeah.
So, was there any moment where you felt things are not going according to the way I want or the way I planned?
Mm.
And what did you set to yourself to get motivated back, and how did you overcome it?
Mm. Yeah, there have been moments like that actually.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kanika S Sweden Jobs. Today, with this video, I am starting a conversation with real people who have something to share beyond the CV. Behind every immigrant journey, there is a story of courage, uncertainty, hard work, and hope. Some people move to a new country to study, some to build a career, and some eventually find a deeper purpose in contributing to the community around them. And my first guest in this series, Beyond the CV, has a story that I believe many of you will connect with. Please welcome Vivek Noel Munigala, who came to Sweden as an international student, built his professional life here, became actively involved in the community, and continued finding new ways to contribute to the society. Today's conversation is not about political parties, election campaigns, or policies. This conversation is about Vivek as a person, his childhood, his journey, his growth, and the lessons that may inspire students, professionals, and immigrants watching us today. Whether you are a student dreaming of studying abroad, a professional starting a new chapter, or someone looking for inspiration, I hope today's conversation gives you something valuable to take with you. Vivek, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm genuinely happy to have you here. Let's begin at the very start of your journey. So, Vivek, thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm genuinely very happy to have you here on my channel, Kanika S Sweden Jobs. Let's begin from the very first question. So, can you tell us something little about yourself, your childhood, and where did you grow up? What kind of family you come from? So, can we start from there?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a town called Kazipet. It is in Warangal district of Telangana state.
Okay.
I went to. My father was in the Indian Air Force. My mom has been worked in the postal services.
Okay.
And then after my father retired, he worked in the Life Insurance Corporation of India, LIC.
Okay. Yeah. LIC.
Yeah, and I studied in a convent school, and our school was known for football. We didn't play so much cricket, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had. I played a lot of football in my life, and I always have been very sports interested. I think I got that from my father. My father was also. He represented the national volleyball team from the Air Force. He was the coach for national volleyball team.
Oh, okay.
In the LIC when he retired. So he was a volleyball sports person and in general. So I play a lot of sports and I like that. So I've been very active, a lot of energy, I would say. And then I don't know if it's relevant, but I've been through major accidents in my life actually.
Oh, okay.
Luckily I survived many. I think I had 3 or something. So and then I studied in the common school, and then I studied my upper secondary. I tried to study in the district, stay in a place called Vizag. It's in the Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah, I know. I think many people know that. Yeah.
So I tried to study there. I was there for 2 months, but I couldn't tolerate the weather, so I left that place.
Okay.
So I came back and I studied in my hometown. Then after that, after intermediate, and I was like thinking, obviously engineering.
Yeah, that's one of the common things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I tried to prepare for MSET and all that, and then this opportunity came. But I really wanted to join the Air Force.
Okay.
So I was trying both Air Force and going abroad, and the option of going abroad came, so I took it. But I don't regret it. But at the same time, I still dream about being a fighter pilot.
Oh.
No, so I hopefully will get to take a flying license sometime. That's what I think.
So we can take it like it's kind of your dream.
Oh yeah, I like it so badly. It's so crazy.
So your father is kind of your inspiration also.
Yeah, you could say so. You could say so, but I think it fits me. It's like uh, I think the role fits me, kind of thing.
So do you play here also in Sweden? In the
And not
football?
football. I started playing cricket. I found a nice group of people that I play cricket now. I try to play badminton sometimes.
Okay.
I try to visit the gym.
So when you plan to come to Sweden or any other country, before moving to Sweden, what did success mean to you? Like, what was your thought about like how you want to be in your future? But that time you were in India. What was your thoughts?
Actually, I was in my thought process. I was not mature. I was still a teenager.
Ah, okay.
And let me say, it was not about being successful. It's about trying. For me, it was really like that. I had no clue. I mean, and the other thing was that we have that in our culture, like to move abroad.
Yeah.
So that was the same thing going on in my mind.
Okay.
And then I came abroad, and then I came so like very young age. So I had what I could say is that I had a lot of time to make mistakes and learn from them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that has been the foundation for my, if you call it success, so it has been really that. And there is two things that about me is that when I have to do something, I don't think about the difficulty of that situation, of that. I just do it, and I don't know if I will succeed or not. I just like focus on it and do it, and that is one thing. And then the other thing is like, yeah, I will see what happens. I'm more like this kind of guy. Let's see what happens.
That's very nice, and I think this is kind of most of the kids at that age have the dream of like be something like their father or mother in their life or go abroad.
Yeah.
That is very common in India, I think. Yeah, I can relate to that also. So why Sweden? Like, what made you choose Sweden as a country to come? Because most of the Indians don't not prefer, they don't know either about Sweden. They try to, like, the top list is US, Canada, UK. How Sweden came into the picture for you?
Firstly, because I didn't have any so much qualifications back then. That's one thing. The other thing is that it was free education here when I came.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So that was one of the biggest factors that played a role. And then we didn't think so much actually. So I just wanted to come and give it a try, see how it goes.
Yeah. And I hope it went very well.
Yeah. No, it was very difficult. I would say that.
Okay. Yeah. So I think for this line, I think many students can relate to you if they are also having similar experiences. So what was your first impression about Sweden when you landed here? Like, do you remember any of your first days or first weeks? Do you feel like that moment I cannot forget?
I mean, the biggest challenge was food. I didn't even know how to make rice.
Oh.
So I couldn't cook, and then I was looking for some spicy food all the time, and there was none. And I was like, oh my goodness, it was so difficult. And then there's so many things to figure out, and lack of knowledge. And back in those days, I don't think I had a very good English fluency also. So just managed, and then I tried, tried to find a job. That was the first thing, job. I had to find a job. Because I think the money was going to get finished, and I don't want to. Didn't want to go back home, I would say.
Absolutely.
Because it's like you spend some money in and all that, to come here. So I just said I have to do this at any cost. So I was really desperate for a job, and I was looking like hell, and then I ended up working, in newspapers. It's many students do that actually.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Yeah, so I ended up in that one, and I was very happy. I wanted to be the best in that, kind of. So I did that, and after time, I got some contacts, and then I got a job in a restaurant, and then I started in the dishes. Then I became a cook. Then my language became better. I went into the service, things like that. This was going on the side of my studies. Actually.
Okay. Yeah. So my next question was to ask you what was your first job in Sweden, and I think you already answered that one. So what did that experience taught you actually? What did you learn from that one?
What it taught me is that it gave me a kind of attitude, I would say, to be good at it. I mean, if I was
In a positive way.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it was like if it was newspapers, I want to be good at it.
Yeah.
If I was washing dishes, I want to be good at it.
Okay.
So I have this kind of I want to be good at it, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
So like it's for to your own satisfaction, not to show anyone else. Like yeah.
And I think it gave you kind of a confidence also not to be ashamed on the job you're doing.
No,
because this is
not.
something very common in India. If we start with this kind of work, people first feel ashamed and people don't want to do that after education.
Yeah.
But this is very common here, and I think that is something helped you also.
Yeah, that's positive. I think it also, like for example, if I look back, I mean, it's an amazing feeling, to think that I have done this before and now I'm here in this. Know. But I didn't imagine, but that's how it feels. Yeah.
So looking back, what lessons you learned which helped you to run this whole journey in your life here in Sweden?
I think focus is very important. I mean, I think I had always. I mean, it's like I know that it's not easy. I mean, to figure out what to focus on or not. But I think for any student who's coming here or anything, I think they need to understand that they have to think long term also, because they're like long term, and that will give you kind of stability, or in terms of employment, in terms of that. They have to think that very well, because what happens is that, for example, I have these part-time jobs, right? I had an opportunity to do them full-time and just leave my studies also. But I think that clarity is very important, that is this something that you want to do all your life? Or is like, that is very important. So I had that thing very clear in my head. I always said to people that I used to work in the restaurant, especially, so I'm going to leave this job one day, and they thought it was a joke, they didn't take me very seriously. It's because they have worked all their lives in restaurant, and then they retired from it also, some, and then I said, I'm going to leave this job one day, and then they thought, you're so cute. Kind of thing. But now I've been away from restaurant almost more than 11 years or something.
Okay.
So that was a good feeling, actually. Yeah,
that's nice
to work with what you have studied for.
So was there a particular moment where you actually felt, now this is going to be home, this is the Sweden, and now I'm going to build my life? Because you had a lot of struggles, you have a long challenges, you worked in a lot of different part-time jobs, and those moments, I think most of the people can relate. Like sometimes we feel very frustrated, sometimes we feel like we lost all the hopes, what we are going to do, what we are doing, what we came for. So what was the moment in your life when you finally realized, now this is the place I'm going to live, and this is going to be my home?
I think as a person, I have been a very open-minded person, I would say, also in India also, because there are certain principles that I couldn't express before, but I have them formed in my life now. That was like your biggest qualification is that you're a human being. It's not your faith, it's not where you come from. For me, that has been one thing, the openness to human beings. And when I came here, and I felt like, even though the Swedish culture is a bit closed, I found that yes, we can coexist here, in a way. And it was more civilized. It was a civilized society, and there were opportunities. I think for many, opportunity is something that plays a very key role. I think, especially from if you migrated to a country, some want to change, but almost majority of them want like an opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think opportunities was one thing, and I think that said, you have an opportunity, so I'm going to make the best out of it. So that's when I thought, okay, it's going good. If it is going really bad, I think I might have think something else, but it was going good. If I am persistent on what I'm doing and focused, I think I will get somewhere eventually. It was showing, the results were showing.
Okay.
Like for example, During my studies, I got involved in voluntary work because I wanted to get more out of my education, but also that I'm always was like people oriented person. I like societal challenges. So I became the president of. I got into a board of United Nations Association of Malmo, and that's a big deal because it's Malmo is the third biggest city in Sweden. And Malmo is very diverse, and there is so many associations there. So I got in there, and then it felt, I mean, because I'm getting from one point to another, even if it was voluntary, it was a big privilege to be actually to get that opportunity. And it boosted my CV also a lot, and I made a lot of contacts, but that's a secondary thing. But then I think, it's going good. I'm meeting people, making contacts, friends are there, like you have social life. I think that's more or less made me like I want to invest. And also and one more thing was I really like the language, how it sounded.
That's nice. You didn't feel it like it's challenging to learn, or even you felt it like it's more interesting to hear?
I thought it was very interesting here. And the other thing was that, as I said, when I talk about learning the language, I didn't see it that way. I saw it that I'm gonna try doing it. I didn't focus on the difficulty of learning the language. That thought never came to my head actually.
That's very inspiring.
I just thought I will focus on the language. That's it, and let's see what happens. And then I invested every day a certain amount of time.
How long did that take?
I think after I graduated, it took me like 2 or 3 years before I found a job within my area. And I started, but one very important detail actually I forgot was that with my background, I needed the language to end up in the workforce.
Yeah.
I missed that totally. Nobody told me either, I think that is something that many people miss in Sweden,
Yeah, it happens. Like sometimes students or even professionals don't know what they need.
Yeah. And that's what happened with me. And then when I was almost writing my thesis, I was like, it came almost like a inner voice. So I said, oh shit, I didn't learn the language. How I'm gonna make it, So no, it was not more like that. It was more like, if I get a job, I need to learn the language, like something like this.
So it was kind of a need for you at that time.
Yeah, at the time,
and then
and then I didn't focus on the difficulty. I just focused on it, and then So that is when when you actually learn the language, you see the society in a very different way.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean you communicate in a different way, and that's a totally different feeling. Yeah.
So was there ever a moment, because you gave a lot of efforts in learning the language also, and a lot of things happened in your journey.
Yeah.
So was there any moment where you felt things are not going according to the way I want or the way I planned? And what did you set to yourself to get motivated back, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, there have been moments like that actually, to be honest. The thing was, I think my first job was what do you call it? When I first got my job, I was married and I had 2 kids. It was very difficult, and it was a temporary job I had. And when you're alone, it's all good.
Absolutely.
And when you have a family and kids, it's a total different ballgame. I mean, it's like you go through immense stress actually. And I was thinking, I mean, how am I gonna do this? Because jobs like restaurant, they're not gonna give you enough in order to be able to provide for your family and all that. And I think, and that is when I thought, I'm like, but I was. At the same time, also, I didn't know that it's going to lead to something or not. But what I had was like, I'm going to apply for jobs every week, at least 2 or 3. That's what I did. Like, I think I applied from almost 1,000 jobs then. Yeah. And then the other thing was, I did that. And then I was like, with the language, keep on going. Let's see what happens. Let's see what's happening. I think that was what I was telling myself, that I have to do this. I don't know where it will lead, but I have to do this.
So it was, I think, a kind of a time when you were in the middle of your journey. You have
Yeah.
two options.
Yeah.
One, you have a family to
Yeah. Provide.
live with and to
Mm.
provide, and
Mm.
for that, like, go forward
Mm.
and work hard more, or
Mm.
go back. And go back was never an option. So yeah, that's actually a kind of a motivation you can give to yourself. Like, I have to do, and you have people for them you want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, when my first job contract was finished, it was difficult to find a second job, actually, to be honest, in the qualified area. But I never stopped applying for jobs, because sometimes what happens is that if you're applying so many jobs, you can get tired and rejection and all that. I didn't give up. I was just like, apply, and then I call the employer, what's going on with my application, and I was constantly in that process.
Okay, that's nice.
So even though I had some thoughts like, should I really go back? Is it there? This is it? This is it? Because what happens is that you have these deadlines with the migration.
Yeah.
That is intensifies, because if I had 1 month more to, I think I will succeed and find a job. That's not it. But it's with the migration deadlines, and it was very stressful, actually, thinking about family and all that.
Yeah.
So
I understand that. Yeah. So if you get a chance to meet the younger version of yourself, the Vivek who came to Sweden and landed on the first day, and now if you need to give an advice to that Vivek, what will be that advice?
I think I would have acquired a permanent residency immediately.
That's not going to be happening.
And then I'm going to join the Air Force in Sweden.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. So if you need to describe your journey in 3 words, Vivek, what would they be? And can you tell us also, like, why you are choosing those 3 words only?
Yes, I would say. One thing is hard work. Yeah, you actually have to work hard. Really.
Absolutely.
That's one thing. And the other one is focus. Why I choose focus is because in life there's many things happening. For example, it can be a personal tragedy, it can be trauma, or a health, or something else. The thing that you want to, let's say you want to find a job, let's say. You want to find a job, but you have so many things that are happening in your life that can affect that process.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And that process can slow down.
Yeah.
Or it will stop. Either one of those. Even though, just to keep in mind that you have to get a job when you actually get out of the situation, is very important. Because I also had moments when they had a slow in life, like a bit down, but I always knew what I'm supposed to, where I'm supposed to get, I think that is why I choose focus. And the other thing is, like, make mistakes. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Just know that don't make like mistakes that you will end up in jail or something.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
So is this like, learn from them. No regrets. Don't have regrets about that, because sometimes we are people, we make bad choices, we make bad decisions. That is part of life. That is how we are built. Just like that, we make mistakes. Don't worry. Start over.
Absolutely.
It's fine.
So hard work, focus, and no mistakes.
Yeah.
And not a lot, but minimal kind of, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's actually very nice. Yeah. So when I asked you this question before, you said that you were very young age. Like, when I asked you, like, what does success mean to you, you said you were very young and you were not able to understand what exactly you want to achieve, but you have some options and you picked the best one what you felt at that time.
Yeah.
But if I ask you, Vivek, today, what does success mean to you compared to when you first left India? So what does that mean to you now?
I mean, I would say that success is, I'm not a success oriented person, actually, to be honest. I'm more like I do the best of the situation. I have 2 things. I do best of the situation. I do my best. It's 2 things. Like, that's what I try to do. For example, now I'm actually motivated about, and the other thing is motivation. I think I motivated about doing good for the society, like inclusiveness and, things like that. Bringing more fairness and perspectives and so on. And that keeps, I think that is more like that what inspires me, keeps me motivated to go ahead. And I wouldn't see that as a success. I would see like more like a way of giving back, I would say. you know, contributing my part. I can what I can do. You know? Yeah.
So during your years in Sweden, and you must be interacting a lot of people from your community, from Indian community. How important has the Indian community been throughout the journey of yours for you?
Actually, you know, I had a very different journey. So actually, I was not connected to so many of our community in my. I met them. I could say like since 2021, 2022. That's when I got into interacting more with the Indian community. And there is a very good reason for that. It's not that I didn't want to meet other Indians or something like that. But what happened was that I was studying political science.
Okay.
You know, I was in the Swedish environment most of the time, and I worked in government institutions. I have no way of connecting with other people from the Indian community because they're usually in IT or other fields. I had no way of like connecting to them in that manner. And I can also say that I've been always busy kind of person. When it comes to like study during my studies time, I actually studied double, so I did a double degree at the same time.
Okay.
So I was studying, and then I had my 3 voluntary work, and I had a part-time job. So I was doing all this at the same time, and so I was so much focused on these things. So I didn't get the time. But since 2021, 22, before the elections, politics is something that's amazing about it. Is that you get in contact with so many people, and it in a way it's so nice, just talk, exchange words, and so I started interacting. So journey before that, I didn't have interaction, but 2021, and since then it's been so good. I mean, I would say I have received so much. You can call love, or you can call it whatever you want, so I built new relations and new connections and new friends, and I could speak so many other languages that I didn't usually speak, like Hindi, Telugu. I mean, at a point of my life, it was like now Swedish is my first language. I would say. So before that, it was like something else. So things have changed, and I'm really enjoying all these conversations with I think I'm covering all of India in Sweden. And I mean, because I had a desire of traveling in India, I mean, to explore cultures and meeting people, and I think I'm somehow fulfilling that desire in Sweden. So.
Okay. That's really nice.
Yeah.
The next is like many people many people actually focus on building their careers and settling into a new country.
Yeah.
And you also spend a lot of time in giving back to the community.
Yeah.
So what did motivated you to do that?
I mean, I think I have a heart for people, because I think that is because sometimes it is about who are you really, because you need to get that clarity for yourself. I think it's very important. So I ask, before people ask me any questions, I ask the questions to myself. Like, for example, I ask them like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Really. Do I have a true intention? Do I have like the right motivation for this? If you ask these questions to yourself, people will not question you, actually, to be honest, because then you have the right parameters to proceed. So what made me is like I have a heart for people, and I try, and that think I had it from my childhood, actually, to be honest. So that kind of grew. Then I came here, and I said I found a sense of purpose. Sense of purpose is very important for me. Whatever I do, why am I doing this? So it was kind of like that. It was like, now I want to help people. Whoever explains concerns, direct them. Reach out in. If I see a question or something in Facebook groups, usually people write a lot of questions there. If I have the time and if I have the knowledge, I will help them in somehow, giving them. I think my impression is that we are very progressive and self-going people. We don't need people to someone else to tell you that you need to do that.
Yeah.
But and you just have to. All they need is like a word of advice, that is why I know who. That's why I'm like, do what I want to do, helping out.
Yeah, I believe in that too. Like
Mm.
I feel like most of the time people don't know a lot of information.
Yeah.
They need a little bit guidance
Yeah.
from the right person.
Mm.
So if you can provide that, I think that
Mm.
makes sense
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you think about making positive changes in people's life,
Yeah.
what does that mean to you personally?
Personally, because I've been following how Sweden has changed. Because I've seen a different kind of Sweden, and then now I've seen different kind of Sweden. Uh, and people are doing their best. They're struggling. They're going through these phases, of life.
Mm.
And somehow I've been there and experienced them myself as well. Um, so what is that they are doing their part, and I'm trying to give them advice. And I will take one concrete example.
Yeah.
I try to help out people finding jobs. I try to do my best in dividing on my time and so on. And I know that it is difficult because I myself have applied for so many jobs and been to so many interviews, and it took a long time before convincing the employer that I'm the right one. Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I have a feeling, because I hear words, sentences like, Vivek, I have done everything. I've tried everything.
Yeah.
Things like that. It actually disappoints me to hear that, to be honest. It shouldn't be like that. That is where I want to play a key role, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's very nice. Like you are thinking in a way of how you could help to the people who are actually struggling.
Yeah.
And you're personally feeling the problems because you have been through to all of them actually.
Yeah.
That's nice. And in your opinion, Vivek, what do you feel how immigrants can contribute to the professional, beyond their professional work, how they can help to the society?
I would say, I think the good thing is that, I would say the way that you treat each other, I think is very important. We don't
Yes.
talk that so much. I think there's something we should also talk about in India, the way that we treat each other, and we should have a sense of togetherness. I think that is that is how you can contribute. That is your biggest contribution. Like exchange words, meet with people, like for example, if we, let's say as a diaspora that we united, it will send a very good signal outside also. It was like, oh, they help each other, nice people, and kind of way, Yeah.
So if you need to give an advice to any Indian student who's actually planning to move to Sweden,
Yeah.
what would be that? What would that be?
Oh, that would be that start SFE immediately.
Okay.
Start the Swedish. As long as you are in that process, you will open so many doors.
Yes.
Your access to information will be amazing, and the way that you see society will be great. You will be like, and your confidence will be on top of anything.
Everything, exactly.
Yeah. Because you can just access information, talk, you present your case, like this. So anybody moving here, the biggest prioritize you would do is your language. It's not even your education, actually, to be honest. If I have to rank them, then it's language and then your education.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very true answer, actually. And I also believe in that now, because it's like there are a lot of things which you can easily access if you know the language. You can knock any door, you can ask anything. If you don't know the language, you need to prepare a long story before knocking the door.
Yeah.
So that ease you can get with the language. So it's the key.
Yeah.
Okay. And if someone wants to build a meaningful career and life abroad, what should they do? From where they can begin?
Where they can begin is that I think they should make a very good calculation of all the let's say expenses is one thing.
Absolutely.
That's one thing you have to take into consideration, how it is it giving you. And I think you have to compare, like, how it is at back home and in Sweden, and then it really depends on what they are like, what their role is, what they want to build a career here. As I said, if they're coming here for job, it's a different story. It's like, but if it's students and all that, as I said, it was the language one, and then really have this long-term and short-term things, like just focus on things like short-term is like, maybe you're working as a temporary job in a restaurant. That is very good, because that will give you something else.
Absolutely.
Because you will know the culture, the workplace, you will understand things, so it's very good. So like, have these things, because as an individual, as a human being, if you're in a age that you should earn money, you should do that.
Yeah, actually, that's
So
true. That's
if
true.
you're in an age you study, you should study.
Yeah. So looking back today, what is the one thing you wish you would have known before arriving to Sweden?
I would have said, yes, to learn the language. Because I waited, I didn't know. I was almost writing my thesis, and then I realized, oh my goodness, I missed the language. That's
okay.
one thing.
So
yeah. And then the other thing was like, if I had an opportunity of joining the Air Force here, so now I'm a bit, but the age is gone, so I cannot qualify for that. So yeah, those two things.
So looking back at everything you have achieved,
yeah,
what are you personally most proud of? Like, what do you personally feel as a person? Like, this is the right decision, this was the right relationship, or this was the right thing I did. I showed the courage there. Is there anything you would like to mention where you are most proud of in your whole journey?
I mean, yeah, this one is a very difficult one, actually, to be honest. It has to do with my personal life, actually. So, but I think the thing was persistence and focus, and I think life is not fair, it's like you face some things just happen, and then you cannot do anything about it. You can feel helpless, to be honest. But just having that, keeping in mind, like, okay, I'm gonna continue doing this, keeping the focus. I think that's what it was. I mean, that is one thing which was, I mean, I'm proud of that, is like I had focus all the time, because there were so many things happening, working late, coming late, studies, running here and there and there, and I thought I never lost focus, actually. I think that would be the one I'm proud of.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And I think this will be the last question from my end.
Okay.
Imagine an Indian student or a professional who's watching this video today of ours from Delhi, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Bangalore, or any other part of India, and dreaming of making a life abroad.
Yeah.
Might be Sweden or any other country.
Yeah.
What one message you want to give them so they could remember you as a person? Like, this advice Vivek gave, and it actually worked for me.
I would just say that because having a plan is one thing, but mental preparedness it is actually higher than planning, because not everything goes to plan, according to plan, to be honest. So be ready to adapt. And one more thing is like, don't be disappointed or something if it doesn't meet your expectations, because sometimes when even if you, before you leave, get on the flight or something, you start dreaming of it.
Absolutely. Everyone, I think.
It's like, oh, it's going to be going to go to this country, it's going to be like this, like this. And be prepared to work hard, and it's gonna and struggle. So it's good to have that mental stability, I mean mental preparedness, I would say. So the thought, okay, it's not gonna be easy, but I'm gonna make it eventually. I'm gonna focus on the right things, and I'm gonna do these things that like language, finding a job, and have this long-term and short-term goals. What are you gonna do short-term, like volunteer work or whatever, that will develop you as your profile as a person, and your personality. And then you have the long-term. This is where I want to reach.
Absolutely.
Have that distinction.
That's really very nice. So thank you so much, Vivek, and thank you so much for sharing your journey so openly and so honestly. And hope I wish you all the very best for your future, and hope you will achieve what you are targeting for.
Thank
you. Hope you will be able to achieve your dream also to become not Air Force, but at least a pilot or like fly a plane someday.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
Exactly.
the very best for that. And thank you once again for joining me today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank
What I find most inspiring about your story is that it isn't just about moving from one country to another. It's about believing in yourself, overcoming challenges, building a meaningful life, and finding ways to give back to the community. Many people watching today may be at the beginning of their own journey. Some may be preparing to leave India, some may have recently arrived in Sweden, or others may simply be working towards a dream. I hope everyone watching takes away one important message. Success doesn't happen overnight. It is built through small steps, patience, courage, and the determination to keep moving forward. And thank you to everyone for watching Kanika S. Sweden Jobs. If you enjoyed this conversation and found it inspiring, please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue bringing you stories of inspiring people who are making a positive impact in Sweden and beyond. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, keep believing in yourself. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode soon. Hey, Doa!